Hi there, my name is Dan and I'm a producer from Leo&Hyde. So Leo&Hyde are songwriters who write electronic pop musicals that are about the future and about technology, and sometimes they put them into musicals and sometimes they just write sort of their own pop songs with an interesting spin. This time, Leo&Hyde are writing a song about the future of St Helens, which is going to be part of a VR experience or a VR music video. So, for those who don't know, VR means virtual reality. So it's those kind of white headsets that you see people wear, and it puts you into this new place. You see and hear things as if you're in a completely new place. So it'll be a music video that is that's 3D. And will have been drawn by a VR artist to imagine the future of St Helens. But none of us are from the local area, and we're working with the library services to try and get some input from local people and to be part of some fun, exciting workshops. But also, we've converted those workshops into some little exercises that you can do at home with family, or you can do them online, or you might be able to do them yourselves as well. But what we want to do is get local people who know about St Helens, know what the problems are, for example, what they want St Helens to look like in the future, and what is also important to them now, and what you might want to keep in the future. So what we would like you to do is to help us imagine St Helens in 100 years' time. However, what we want is all the ideas to come from a place of positivity. We want to see the future in the way that is solarpunk. So solarpunk is an idea that bounces off the idea of cyberpunk, which some people might have heard of. There's a recent game that's come out, which is called Cyberpunk, and those kind of visions of the future are quite dark and scary and negative, and there's lots of pollution, and everyone's controlled by technology and things like that. Solarpunk, which is the way we want to think about the future, is the opposite to that. So it's sustainable, it's free, it's full of quality, and it uses new technology like cyberpunk does, but rather than us being controlled by it, we're working with it and working alongside nature. So the idea of something cyberpunk would be I don't know, like underground bunkers and lots of technology and people sort of fighting against evil baddies, whereas solarpunk, we'd imagine this utopia, which means something that's positive and perfect. And so imagine, say, high-tech buildings covered in leaves, for example, as a way to, combat climate change, but also having lots of really high-tech things that, we all like and are part of our everyday life. So what we want you to do is to think through these exercises that are coming up in the following videos and send us your ideas using the worksheets that should be provided with this video. Then what we'll do is, once you've done those exercises, all the responses that we get collected in will be turned directly into the music video. So that's both what the artist creates using her VR paintbrush, and what you hear that's created by Leo&Hyde. So the content of the song, the lyrics, the sound of it. When the song is written based on your submissions, there will also be a chance to be in the virtual backing choir for it if you wanted to be, but there's no pressure to be if you're not sort of the singing type. So in the next few videos, you should be shown some examples of Leo&Hyde's music to give you a flavour of the kind of thing that we're after and what to expect. Then we'll have Joe, who is our very capable facilitator for these workshops, who will be providing some short videos with some exercises about how to create positive ideas of the future. And then there'll be a final video which explains how you send that through to us. Hope you enjoy.
a world of its own. You're caught up in the corner all alone on your phone, living a double life.
Online, you're waving a sword, you're playing games at work again, you really that bored, living a double life.
Living faster, loving harder, hiding deeper, trying longer. Take another picture for your double life, addicted to your double life. Are you sick of your double life?
Light up, stranger, lover, dreamer, brother, sister, other. Listen to this brand new story about friends and bodies and heartbreak and parties and mistakes and love.
Listen to this story.
Light up, stranger, lover, dreamer, brother, sister, other. Listen to this brand new story about friends and bodies and heartbreak and parties and mistakes and love.
Online, wherever you go, however clever you are, you can never say no, living a double life.
Online, you're stalking your friends. In person, you pretend that you don't follow the trends, living a double life.
Living faster, loving harder, hiding deeper, trying longer. Take another picture for your double life, addicted to your double life. Are you sick of your double life?
Light up, stranger, lover, dreamer, brother, sister, other. Listen to this brand new story about friends and bodies and heartbreak and parties and mistakes and love.
Sings to our story.
Light up, stranger, lover, dreamer, brother, sister, other. Listen to this brand new story about friends and bodies and heartbreak and parties and mistakes and love.
This is a generation full of liberated, motivated, educated, underrated, complicated lovers, yeah. This is a generation full of funny, smart, creative, up-to-date, sincere, connected, cheeky, fun, uniquely futuristic lovers. And you love them, yeah, yeah, yeah. Online, you're living a life, hiding all your lows and only showing the highs, living a double life.
Online, since the day you were born, your parents are despairing that it's simply the norm, living a double life. Living faster, loving harder, hiding deeper, trying longer. Cause your home is on the internet, you've grown up with the internet, along with the internet.
Light up, stranger, lover, dreamer, brother, sister, other. Listen to this brand new story about friends and bodies and heartbreak and parties and mistakes and love.
This is a generation full of liberated, motivated, educated, underrated, complicated lovers, yeah. This is a generation full of funny, smart, creative, up-to-date, sincere, connected, cheeky, fun, uniquely futuristic lovers. And you love them, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a generation.
So the song you just listened to then, and saw the music video for, was called Double Life, and it's from Leo and Hyde's electronic gay rom-com musical called Guy. And in the workshops that we had leading up to that music video, we got LGBT young people to help create the choreography for the video that you saw on the side, and to develop their own skills to try and contribute some acting skills to the music video themselves, because most of the chorus that you saw in the chorus, the choir in the chorus, the virtual choir, were people who attended workshops and then filmed themselves and recorded themselves doing things and then sent it to us to be included in the video. So this is quite similar to the project that we're doing with you, with St Helens, which is to get ideas from local people that will help shape the video, the way it looks and the way it sounds. And then later on, people who want to sing can sing the song that they've helped create and be part of the choir in this 3D virtual experience that tries to represent what you all want St Helens to look like in the future. So to give you an idea of the kind of flavour of this sort of positive future vision, there's just one more song that I'd like you to listen to before you go into the workshops with the little video workshop type things with Joe, which is called Silicon Words, which is a project that Leo and Hyde did recently, exploring the idea of wind turbines and sustainability. And this song was created for Amelia Gabriel, who's a singer and musical theatre performer. And all the sounds you hear were manipulated live. You can hear her voice. It's only her voice being used. And she's accompanied by her own voice. But if you just listen to the lyrics and listen to how they paint this idea of you can just see the bubble. Paint this idea of this utopia future, this positive future that uses technology, that might give you some ideas for the next section that Joe is going to lead with you. So again, hope you enjoy.
Eat the balls made of mushrooms, drink the tall seaweed cups, lay your head down, picture wind, water, sun, let yourself become buried in bamboo coffins, rewilded as woodland, and return to the earth. These are the silicon words, these are the silicon words. I've heard within the wind.
Hello, my name's Joe, and I'm just going to be leading you through some activities that we've developed. The first part of these activities are going to be really useful for us because they're about St Helens, and we'll kind of get some information about St Helens that's going to be really useful for us. The second part is some creative thinking exercises, and hopefully they will be useful for us, but also will be hopefully things that you can take into your own creative processes. A few little techniques that will be helpful for that. The third thing that we're going to do is the kind of final thing, which is invite you to create something using whatever art form that you like, that you can then be kind of sent to us. And you should have the worksheet with you that's going to take you through each step of that. The first thing is to just make sure you've got what you need for these activities, which is a kind of pencil or a pen, the worksheet, and some extra bits of paper if you kind of need to go onto any extra bits of paper at any point. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do, which is on the worksheet, which is to think about things that are unique about St Helens. And these things could be landmarks, they could be kind of feelings about what you feel about St Helens and the experience that you have in St Helens to do with friends, family. But anything that you feel is kind of particularly unique to St Helens. That's the first question. Once you've done that, and feel free to pause the video while you do that, the second question is, what does St Helens look like? And that really is about just thinking, writing a list of things that you might see in St Helens. It could be quite literal, like specific shops, specific restaurants. It could be kind of a little bit more abstract, kind of groups of friends that you might see, or a feeling, or the sky, or the weather. It can be anything that you think is about what you see when you hear the word St Helens. So what does St Helens look like? And feel free to pause the video as you do that. The third question is, what does St Helens sound like? So if you were to close your eyes and be somewhere in St Helens, what sounds would you hear? And you can write them down in answer to the question on your worksheet, and feel free to pause the video as you do that before we next move on to the next part. So for these next exercises, we're going to use a technique called free writing, which is really useful for me when I'm maybe struggling to be creative or are really trying to push myself to get to a creative place. So we're going to use a time limit. So that's going to be 2 minutes, and that really helps me with my creativity. During that time, you're not going to judge any of your ideas, and you're not going to think, oh, that's a terrible idea, I'm not going to put that down. You're going to put down everything that comes through your head without judgment. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to write without kind of stopping. So during that 2 minutes, you're going to carry on writing, and your pen, it's almost like your pen shouldn't leave the paper. It's kind of always going on to the next line to carry on writing. I would do this with a pen or pencil rather than typing. So you're just going to, at the start writing, write whatever comes into your head, and then stop at the end of the 2 minutes. So you're going to do a list, and that list is what you love about St Helens. So what you love about St Helens. 2 minutes is going to appear on the clock now. 3, 2, 1, go. Now, hopefully you've got a list now of things that you really love about St Helens. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the same technique of free writing, writing without stopping, not judging our ideas. And then the question now is, what could you improve about St Helens? What could you improve about St Helens? 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so hopefully now you've got your list of things that you love about St Helens and your list of things that you could improve about St Helens. And we're going to focus on that second list now. And we're going to try and imagine a solution to one of those things using our own creativity and imagination. And in order to do this, we're going to focus on the kind of solarpunk principles. And you don't need to know lots about solarpunk in order to do this, just that it's a positive way of imagining the future, and it's a really creative way of imagining the future. And by that, I mean we're going to continue our approach to creativity, which is not judging our ideas as we come up with them and not blocking our ideas. And for example, by thinking, oh, I couldn't do that because that's too expensive, or I couldn't do that because there's not the technology available to do that. We're just going to let our imaginations run wild. So, in order to do this, I'm going to ask you to pick one thing from your list that you could change about St Helens, or would like to change about St Helens. So just go down your list and pick one thing now. Great. And I'm going to pick from my list that I made about my hometown the fact that the indoor shopping centre has sucked the life out of the high street. So what I'm going to ask you to do now, bearing that idea in mind, we're going to go from free writing that we've just done to free drawing. So I'm going to ask you to get your pen or pencil, and I'm going to give you 1 minute, and I'm going to ask you to start drawing, and you're going to draw a kind of solution or invention or way of solving this problem in the most creative way possible. Just let your imagination run wild. You're going to get 1 minute to just start drawing, and don't stop until the end of that minute. I have prepared one for you just so that you can see, which is what I did just before, for 1 minute, about the kind of the high street, improving the high street and putting more life into the high street. And this, it might not be very clear from this drawing, but I've kind of I thought about the weather and the fact the weather keeps people away from the high street, and I've created these kind of heat lamps that kind of put sunlight and heat onto the street, so you should be able to shop there and be comfortable at any point. I've also put these comfortable benches here, so you can they're really comfy benches, so it's a really comfortable experience shopping in the high street. So it could look something like that. I'm going to give you 1 minute to start drawing. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Hopefully you've got your drawing now. If you haven't quite finished your drawing, that's absolutely fine. You can either pause the video and carry on finishing it off, or you can carry straight on. It doesn't matter too much whether you've finished or not at this point. We're now going to expand that drawing to solve another problem that we came up with, or thing that we wanted to improve. And the way I'm going to ask you to do this is to go down your list and pick another problem or another thing that you'd like to improve about St Helens. So for example, I'm going to put there's a lot of dog poo in the streets of the town where I'm from. So the reason we're doing this is because solarpunk often is about reimagining things in a way that serves multiple purposes. So by that I mean, for example, you can kind of kill two birds with one stone in your solution. So, for example, on lots of images of Solarpunk kind of futures, there's often really high-rise buildings. So using a little bit of space, you can create a lot of homes, but also that those high-rise buildings are have lots of kind of greenery on them and leaves and plants, and that means that those buildings are providing housing. They're also kind of looking like a nice place to live and be, and they're also taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and producing oxygen. So they're kind of solving multiple things just in one solution, and that's what we're going to try and do now. So using your next thing that you'd like to change, you're going to get 2 minutes this time, and now you're going to alter your drawing and your kind of invention and solution to try and solve that second problem. So for example, this is one I did with dog poo. So you've got the high street that I drew before with the lamps and the kind of solar heat lamps, but also there's this street. I've kind of done this street that recognizes the kind of dog poo if something falls on them that's dog poo, and it kind of swallows up the dog poo. And then I've put a generator below here that kind of takes the dog poo and uses the methane to kind of generate sustainable kind of electricity for the town. So that it could be something like that, and I've altered my drawing. It might be midway through your 2 minutes you want to kind of start a new drawing afresh to make it clearer, and it might be that after you've finished your drawing you want to just annotate it so that we understand what it is. So start editing your drawing to solve your new idea. You've got 2 minutes free drawing now. Brilliant. So hopefully you've got a drawing. It doesn't matter if it's not the most amazing drawing at all. That's not the point of this. Is not to create an amazing drawing. It's to kind of let our imagination run wild, kind of solving 1, 2, or potentially you might have solved a few of your problems or things that you wanted to change. The next task is and you might have annotated it to make it clear. Because it'd be great for you to also, when you send in this worksheet, for us to really be able to understand what you've drawn. The final task that we're going to ask you to do, and there's no time limit for this, so because it's a bit freer, we want you to really bring any skills or expertise that you have. And you're going to take that idea that you've kind of created through this process, and you're going to use your kind of skills, and it might be that you're kind of more confident in music or visual art or kind of creative writing, for example, and you're going to create something that is a response to this, your idea that you've generated. So it could be, for example, that I want to take this drawing and I want to spend time, because I kind of really prefer doing art, and I want to spend time colouring it in or painting it or creating a new painting. It might be that I want to do open up a Word document and start typing and writing a paragraph that explains my invention and how that's going to change things. It could be that you want to use music and you want to create the sounds. So it might be the sounds of this new high street. So maybe it's the pitter-patter of lots of footfall and life in the high street. Maybe we hear the buzz of these lamps. However you want to create that response to music, using music as well. Once you've done that, you can use the instructions on your worksheet to submit what you've done, and it'd be really great to see both your worksheet and the answers that you gave and the thoughts that you've got about St Helens, and the kind of the kind of more fleshed out idea that you're doing in this final task. So just follow those instructions to submit it, and all of that will become part of the piece and inspire the piece that we're making at Leo and Hyde. Thank you very much.